Yesterday I had the realization I had before a few years ago, but I didn't think much of it, but now it came back again as a result of me praying about how to really see people. So in A Course in Miracles, it is told that we always have to forgive, and even when we look at people and we kind of want to keep ourselves separate from them in any way, even mentally reject them for how they look or what we think of them, we're actually keeping the projection. So we believe, then we make the illusion more real, and we believe in the dream, so it makes us harder to get out of the dream. So I was wondering how to see people in a way according to A Course in Miracles, because we are supposed to always forgive, but also we need to simultaneously understand that what we are looking at are not actually what we think we are looking at. So these are just dream figures. They are just symbols in the dream. And so the beings represented by those symbols are not the symbols. We are not the bodies. But how to relate to people without putting our brothers and sisters in bodies? Because it is told in A Course in Miracles that if you think that what you are talking with are your brothers and sisters, you will keep yourself thinking that you're the body. Because as we treat others, so we will see ourselves. So I hope you understand what I mean, because even if we know how to travel in the astral, we still travel in the body. So we are so used to this body vehicle that we don't even think when we are speaking that we are speaking to something beyond the vehicle. We are actually speaking to the vehicle. And it is told in A Course in Miracles that this is what keeps us in bodies, what keeps us identified with bodies. So as a result of these wanderings, this contemplation, I got an insight about how to view people without thinking that they are bodies. And that's by understanding that the observer, the silent observer, is what they actually are. So basically, if you are meditating, you know that you are not the thoughts, you are not the one who's talking, you are the one who is seeing everything. And that's the part of you that is immortal because it never changes. The observer remained the same whether you were a child, when you were growing up, when you were studying. Everything else in your body, in your behavior changed, shifted. There were transformations. However, the observer remained the same. So only that which doesn't change is true. So we are not these bodies, but the observers of how everything is in this world. And therefore, it applies the same to other people. And also, what this enables us to do is to understand that all of us are brothers and sisters for sure, because the observer is the same. How can the observer be different? It's just watching. And then we can go that actually that observer is slightly modified, but it is part of us. But there is no perception in heaven, as it's told in A Course in Miracles, only knowledge. But our knowledge was transformed into perception. So even that is not exactly real, but it does represent our immortal part. So when we understand that all of us share that observer, and we think that it's different, but it's kind of like in bodies it's separated, but in reality all of it is one. And that's why we need forgiveness, because when we forgive others, we merge with that observer and we become stronger, and it enables us to understand our true nature, that we came from the kingdom of heaven. When we connect with the observers of others, and that observer, what is it? It's still modified in this reality, but it's that immortal part of us that's called the mind in A Course in Miracles, and it's the Christ mind. It's Christ. That's why indeed it is true that it's right for us to look at others and see as though we are talking to the Christ in each of them. So the body is not the Christ, but what's there observing, what's there looking, that is the part that is immortal. It's the part that is from heaven, and it's Christ, because all of us are one. All of us are one Son of God, as it's explained in A Course in Miracles, and that Son of God is Christ. So I don't know if I explained it clearly, but basically, so just think about that observer that was always there with you when you just came into this world. You were observing things passing, and when you were studying, it was the same observation. The personality changed, the mental content changed, but the observer remained the same, because it's that part of us that is timeless. And the same applies to other people. They are growing up, they are studying, some of them don't study, go to work, some of them have different skin color, but the observer is the same. So people argue, people have wars, because they see this external form that is different, culture that is different, culture that can be opposite, but the observer is the same. That's why all of the people in the world are our brothers and sisters. So I think that if it is contemplated long enough and regularly, it becomes natural to treat others as though Christ is in front of us, because that observer is the same. And then when you really contemplate it and take any person, even the person that you dislike, and just think that that person has the same observer like you have. It came into this world, he was or she was growing up, and that observer, that watcher is the same. And it kind of unites you with the whole humanity, and then it enables you to look beyond the form, beyond the shape, beyond the color, beyond the culture, and connect with that observer in them through the body. And so this enables you not to perceive the person as a body with this understanding, but I think that it has to be cultivated. You have to contemplate it so that it really sticks with you, because it's not the usual way of relating to others, because what we are doing is we are relating to form. We think that this is the truth, that dream figure. But if we learn to speak to that observer through the person, then we don't keep our brothers and sisters in bodies, and in turn we ourselves stop thinking of ourselves as the body, and we start gaining the memory of our spiritual aspect. And it is told, I remember one story of Ramana Maharishi, a great liberated person of India, that one time some kind of person from the West, maybe he was a journalist or something like that, came to listen to Ramana Maharishi, and he didn't even approach it, but Ramana Maharishi was just sitting. He was not talking to him in any way, but he transmitted to his mind the vision of how the world is suffering. He took him to, I think, if I remember right, to some mountain, and he showed all the people and how much they are suffering, and that person got scared. It was too much for him. But basically that's because Ramana Maharishi was he was not in any way identified with his body. He understood he was that observer, and because of that, this knowledge freed him from the body. And because the observer in another person is the same, he was able to travel to that person. And also, observer is actually unlimited. It's the spirit, so it can be anywhere. And A Course in Miracles also explains, I think in lesson 30, but I might be mistaken, that you will learn to that there is no time and space, that you can, kind of in my own words, you can travel beyond time and space. So basically, Ramana Maharishi was so much in his spiritual aspect that he was able to, without talking, without going, walking, and engaging with another body, he was just with his immortal mind, was able to transmit his knowledge to any body, to any son of God, so to speak. how amazing that is. And that's why it's so important not to do all we can not to identify with our bodies. And that's why in the original writings in A Course in Miracles published by the Circle of Atonement, there's a lot of writings about intimacy, and it is told, but in other editions this is removed, that intimacy is only for the procreation, because if you engage in intimacy apart from procreation, you are confusing the levels, the level of illusion with the level of spirit, because the closeness is only with God. So we wanted that closeness, but we don't know who we really are, and we interpret this need for being close with God with the need to be close with the body, and so we confuse the levels, and this keeps us tied with the body. And of course it's not for everyone, and some people it's better to be intimate with other bodies if you are not yet ready to, unless you really understand this, because then it would result just in suppression, frustration, and we don't want that. However, there will come a time when you understand that if you use the body as an end in any way, as an end for pleasure, or like if you beautify your body so that others are attracted, not using the body as a means for spirit, but as an end in itself, or like using like eating only organic food to make the body very strong. So basically you are seeing the body as an end in itself, and it keeps you identified with the body, and then you will not be able to even understand some higher concepts of the spirit, because you are viewing everything from the body and you're identifying with the ego rather than with the spiritual aspect. That's why in A Course in Miracles it is told that it's very important to have only one function for the body, to use it only as a means for spirit, as a means of communication. And your only function in this world is healing, which can be expressed through help, love, peace, but it's the same, it's all the same, it's a healing function to the world. And the body should not be beautified in a way that others are paying attention to the body, but it should be just kept neutral. It doesn't mean that you should not look after it, but if it becomes obsessive, that's body used as an end, like to be admired. But if the body is just kept as a means for communication, then it no longer serves as an obstacle to your spiritual progress, and you really start understanding these concepts, like really understanding that you're not the body, but you're the observer. And then when you really understand that, and you don't engage body for pleasure to obtain anything in this world, then you are not activating the body, you're not attaching yourself to the body, but you're going into the spirit aspect of you, and then you become free of time and space. You can communicate mind to mind, because in A Course in Miracles it is told, if you believe that bodies can communicate, you are greatly mistaken. Of course, I put it in my words, but basically in A Course in Miracles it's told that bodies actually don't communicate, it's only minds that communicate. So at first it kind of looks nonsense, right? Like that minds are not private, that all minds communicate. But when you start getting detached from the body, you really understand it's true, because the watcher is the same. So only mind-to-mind communication is real, and bodies cannot communicate because bodies are designed to be the evidence of our separation. It's the ego device, and ego always separates. So that's what I wanted to share with you. A lot of insights are coming to me because I meditate, I pray, I read, and this is what I do most of the time. I go to eat, I talk to my clients, and I go back to meditate and contemplate. I am guided through my dreams. I can't even tell you how many dreams I had as a result of this prayer and asking the Holy Spirit to teach me through the dreams. And I want to encourage you to study A Course if you're ready to leave this world, to really understand that it's an illusion. And this will naturally come for everyone. So naturally, if you drop most of the things and you're focusing on things spiritual, then that's the part of you that will develop. And if you're not ready to leave the world, your time will also come. Maybe not in this lifetime, maybe later in this lifetime, but it surely will come. Okay, that's all I wanted to share with you. Have a great day. Take care.